What's going on YouTube? Legend here once again. This time at you again with some more Genshin Impact. And honestly, what I wanted to come talk to you guys about is Yae Miko. As I've told you guys before, there was a video that I had and I talked about how people were, I basically made a video called Yae Miko Wanders Beware. When she was in beta, people started making doubts, having doubts and stuff like that, because every single time we got a new character, every single time, people try and judge her on day one, on week one, and so on and so forth. The real situation is you can't, judging from experience, you cannot judge a character off the first week of using them. You just can't. There's too many possibilities. You don't know their team comp yet. You don't know their damage, especially a situation like this where you can't level up their talents yet. And people are already saying that Yae Miko isn't good. Surprise, surprise, right? Now, here's the thing. I've been playing with Yae Miko. I've been using her. I've been testing her out. I've been using different team comps. I've been doing different things. And honestly, I think she's great, right? Now, I'm not saying she's perfect, and I'll tell the cons also. But she is great, and I'm going to tell you why too, all right? Now, one thing I keep hearing is that her damage isn't there, right? Now, let's just assume that these people are putting into account that they don't have high talent levels, okay? Because honestly, if your talents are 666, you need to understand that you are going to, once you get talents to 9, that actually is a pretty significant difference in damage. When you get better artifacts, that's a same difference in damage. So the way I look at it is, whatever I have the character at week 1, I look at it as whatever I have it at week 1, I'm going to double that damage when I'm done investing in this character, right? That's just my thoughts, assuming that at day 1 I can level 90 them, and so on and so forth. But people are comparing her damage to Fischl. Now, here's the thing. If you look at her multipliers are higher than Fischl's, right? Let's see if I can bring that up actually. We got Yae Miko's skill right here, right? So we got Yae Miko's skill. And if we take a look, we see that Yae Miko's skill at level 9, right? With the Sakura damage at level 3, right? Assuming that you don't get C2 and can't go to level 4, but let's say you can go to level 3. 161 for the multiplier, right? And keep in mind, she has a high base attack, right? Keep in mind she has a high base attack too, right? And she has, crit rate ascension. So, you're gonna be able to maximize her crit value, right? So let's keep that in mind, right? So let's take a look at Fischl. So we see Fischl's base attack at 244. Now, at level 9, we see that Fischl has 150 for Oz's damage, right? So now we're looking and seeing that, wait a second, Oz does not do as much damage, right? Now let's say you have a C6 Fischl, right? So there's gonna be a bunch of little attacks in between if you're hitting with somebody that has, a fast attack speed, right? So, but even then, you also gotta make up for the lower base attack, all right? So when you say Fischl does more damage.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Not going to do more damage, right? Level for level, right? I mean, even then, let's say you get her to level 12, because it's going to be easier to get a 4-star to level 12. You still put into account that there's lower base attack here, right? So, in other words, what I'm trying to say is that Fischl and Yae Miko's damage is going to be somewhat equal, but the fact of the matter is, that is not Yae's ceiling. This is Fischl's ceiling, right? As you invest in the character more and more, you're going to reach their ceiling, and Fischl just can't go any higher than this. That's it. She's capped out. Her cap is basically Yae's base form.
What you're seeing now is my normal state.
All right? That's the best way I can explain it, all right?
And this
is to go even further beyond.
So honestly, that's the thing, right? That's what I'm noticing, what people are saying, and so on and so forth in terms of her damage. So you can't talk about damage yet because she's not fully invested yet. You haven't fully invested in her. I mean, I have pretty good investment in mine because I was preparing for a while and so on and so forth. But yeah, that's the thing, right? And also, right? People also say that she's clunky. Okay, I understand that, right? That's very subjective. I can't really go against people saying that she's clunky because, like, if you find her clunky, you find her clunky. Like, I can't tell you otherwise, right? But one thing I can say is that, like, the more you play with a character, the more you're used to it. Because, like, as you see, I'm going through rotations. I'm going through rotations with her and stuff like that and whatever. When I first started playing her, I couldn't figure out these rotations. When people said use mono electro, I'm like, how am I going to be able to switch between Sara and so on and so forth and get the buffs up? But you get used to it after a while, and it doesn't take that long, you know, because she's been out for a week, and I've already got it down pat. So that's the thing when it comes to that, right? So, you know, that's that. But it really just comes down to preference, play style, what you like, right? Use her in the trial. If you like how she plays, if you don't like how she plays, then you make your decision from there too. All right, that's up to you. And honestly, too, you got to take into account that also when you're thinking about her damage, she doesn't have her own artifact set yet. Every Inazuma character we've had, they have their own artifact set, right? They have their artifact set that they're good with. You know, Ayaka has her Blizzard Destroyer, so on and so forth. Kazuha has his Viridescent, you know, so on and so forth. You know, and, like, they all have this, and it's only a matter of time before Yae gets hers. Yae is going to get her artifact set. I'm not talking about leaks here. I don't know when she's gonna get artifact set. It's not looking like 2.6, so I'm not saying it's right around the corner like that, but it will come. It's gonna happen. I don't see a future where it's not gonna happen. It just doesn't make sense to me, right? So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind that she is going to get her own artifact set, right? And that's going to add to her too. Because just like with Kokomi ended up getting a artifact set. Now people are saying, oh, Kokomi's great, this and that, blah, blah, so on and so forth. I love her. Like, if Yae is already this strong without an artifact set, imagine what artifact set's gonna do. What if it gives her support capabilities? What if it just gives her a whole bunch more damage? Like, the possibility is limitless, because the artifact set, no matter what way you twist or turn it, it's going to improve her in some way, shape, or form. So keep that in mind too. But yeah, like, that's the thing. But let's try and talk about some of the cons. Some of the cons when it comes to having Yae Miko, right? Because, like, I mean, she's not perfect. She's not a perfect character. When I was testing her on the first day, I felt a little underwhelmed and stuff like that. But here's the thing. I have Yae Miko at C3 right now. But one thing I always do whenever I get a new character is that I try to make sure I can beat all content in the game at C0. Right? So the thing with that is that, like, when I was testing her at C0, I did notice a couple issues. One is her energy. Her energy issues are apparent. You can't ignore them. They're like, you can't just be like, oh, you know, it's non-existent, blah, blah, blah. No, she has energy issues. Like, you can't ignore them, right? So in order to solve that, you need to have a battery with her, right? You need to have her with a decent amount of energy recharge, maybe 130, 140. You need official on your team. Like I have right here. I have official on the team, and she's helping her right there. I believe this is still my C. I think this my C. I think this is my what's it called? Yeah, I think that's my C0 right there. That's my C0 Yae Miko at this point. So, yeah, honestly, I like. You need a battery for her, and like Fischl or Raiden and so on and so forth, just to kind of, you know, keep the rotations pretty smooth and so on and so forth like that, right? You know, so if you don't have a Fischl build, if you don't have a Raiden build, and you only can get her C0. And I think at that point you should only get her if you really like her, because it's not, like, meta-wise, it's not a good idea to get her if you don't have a battery for her ready to go, right? That's just how it is. Beta was not a battery for her. I'm sorry, but she's not. All right. So that's the thing with that, right? And yeah, and honestly too, if you're like a veteran player, day one player, she's kind of unnecessary. Because if you have a C6 official that's well built, fully invested, and you only plan on having her C0, yeah, she is a little bit unnecessary at that point, right? Like, yeah, she does more damage than official because she adds that nuke, but like, is it really worth it just to add the nuke if like you're already at a certain level and you're trying to like be, you know, smart with what you're doing, right? So Yae Miko just isn't the case when it comes to that. I mean, I do gotta say that if you do have Raiden, right? Whether you're day one or not, I think it's worth it because I tested it out, and right now for me personally, for my account, Raiden Hypercarry is my strongest team, right? But when I tested out with the Yae Miko that I have at this build level, or like her E is only at level 8 and that's it, right? Everything else is 6/6. Teaming them up, I'm getting faster clear times when I take out Sara and put Yae Miko in because of the damage that she's providing, the constant damage that she's providing, right? So that helps out, especially when you're dealing with spread out mobs. Like she's just picking them off with her E and stuff like that. So that's the thing. I do think she excels when it comes to that. I think that's her strongest team, is her with Raiden. You also can do Mono Electro, which I did in the last clip there you saw. But yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, she does have her issues. She has her problems, mainly it's energy. But once you get C1, the issue is over, you know, and it's not a problem anymore. You don't need to run her with a battery as long as you have a good enough energy recharge, so on and so forth. Because at that point, it's like her energy cost is like at 66. That's just a couple things I want to talk about Yae Miko. If you guys are thinking about getting Yae Miko, understand that yes, she actually is a good unit. She is good, right? She's not game breaking. I'd say if I were to rate her, I would say at C0 she's about a 6.5 out of 10, and at actually at 6 out of 10 at C0, and then I'd say after that C1 or C2. I think at C2 she's 7.5, 8 out of 10. I think she's a great character when it comes to that. And the more constellations you get, the better she becomes, and so on and so forth. I don't have a C6, so I can't speak on that. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on her. That's what I think. But yeah, that's basically what I did. That's what I wanted to get out about Yae Miko. Let you guys know what I thought, and hopefully if this reaches you guys, that kind of helps with your decision if you want her or not. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Comment your thoughts down below. Do you agree with what I'm saying? Have you gotten Yae Miko? Have you been hearing people saying bad things about it, stuff like that, and whatever, so on and so forth. And subscribe to the channel to get more content like this, all right? With that, I'll end it there. Legend out.